Money watcher Dan Celia, he says that the Fed might be losing some credibility in the middle of all of this. What do you mean, Dan?
Well, I don't know, Neil, if the Fed has a whole lot of credibility left to lose.
Nah.
They haven't been right about too much. But look, the fact of the matter is, there's no way on God's green earth the Fed was going to even consider raising rates in September. Look, the fact of the matter is, I know the Fed is not been politicized, so they would say. But the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump gets elected, Janet Yellen loses her job, and I hate to break it down to such brass tacks like that right away, but the fact of the matter is, rates are not going to be raised in September. That is one reason. The other reason is the data, frankly, stinks. And if we are at a true 4.9% unemployment rate, then shouldn't that be data enough that we obviously have an incredibly strong economy and we should be raising rates to kind of cool it off a little bit? It is just one of the things that I wrote about in an op-ed that the Fed doesn't have any credibility.
So in other words, it's falling behind the curve. And if you argue that this is the sort of stuff at which you would measure to go ahead and hike rates, and you don't, you've lost whatever street cred you have.
Exactly. And I think we've seen that over and over again with central banks around the world, and the Federal Reserve being right up there at the top of the list. But Dan,
you know what I worry about, and I'm not worried, but I just say I can always see a pattern to this, that just when it looks like the Federal Reserve is inclined to hike interest rates and resume what it started, reversing this cycle back earlier in the year, it will always find an excuse not to continue. And usually it's a market tantrum or a huge sell of maybe something akin to what we saw on Friday. And yet they can always come up with a reason to reverse that course. Again, whether you agree with that posture or not, but that the markets rule the day. And that could be a slippery slope, couldn't it?
Well, it is, and the markets do rule the day. I think the markets being up today, if the reason is that the dovish tone of one Fed president is the reason, it goes to show just exactly how fragile the markets are. It goes to show the real false positives that obviously must be in the markets if they are so dependent upon not having a 1/4%, 25 basis points increase. It really goes to show the fragility, how fragile these markets are. And I don't think that's good. I think that confirms what myself and a lot of other people have been saying about the real markets.
Yeah, and you wonder whether the markets know that their bidding can get the Fed, holding. And they might just play this tantrum out every time it looks like something like a rate hike could happen.
Well, they certainly know, because that has been the case for the last 6 years anyway. So at least the markets are smart enough to figure that out. That's for sure.
And as are you, and you were way ahead of it. Dan, thank you very, very much. All right, for those of you just joining us now wanting to see why we